Waters.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
O'Kane.
Here.
Shaner. Here. Scott.
Here, please stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the pledge. Interview for the Public Museum Board. Lexa Almond, please come up and tell us why you,
Library.
Library, not museum.
oh, what did I say? Library, sorry about that.
You're in the right spot.
Thanks. Got a little scared there for a
Tell
second.
us why you want to continue to serve.
Honestly, I had a lot of fun on my first term. I was able to help the library oversee parts of their strategic plan, and I would love to continue to see that through.
Hear that, Helen? I had a lot of fun in the library.
Yes.
Like to
I
hear
did
it.
have a lot of fun. Helen's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah.
Some of us are friends with her on Facebook, so we know.
Oh, I haven't found her on Facebook yet.
And thanks for your willingness.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
for
you.
your
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
We have no questions.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to the regular consent agenda, which is 3 through 13. Consider these items pass unanimously. You want to speak on an item, please come up as I read it. If you want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. Remember to always state your name. I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
3 is a reading of the July 10th and 14th City Council minutes. 4 is a resolution scheduling a hearing on the revisions of the administrative plan for the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. 5 is a resolution suspending the requirements of Section 400-11-1A of the Iowa Code for the hiring of employees for the police department for 1 year. I have a question on that. Are we at full force?
No, Rex Mueller Police Department, we're about 2 down based on our allocated numbers. That includes a handful of people that we've given conditional offers to. So we're continuing to try to utilize the available pool of candidates to hire and train. But obviously one of the most difficult things is getting enough people through the training process. And I think our department is doing well on recruiting, and I would hope that we continue to do so. And I think this the suspension helps because we have more flexibility in the hiring process. And I remind the council that we also have a lot of integrity measures following a conditional offer of employment. So understanding the spirit of the civil service, they are still approving our process. We just went to the Civil Service Commission a few months ago and received their endorsement to continue with this process. So I think this is the best way moving forward, and it's, like I said, it's allowed us the flexibility to do the hiring in a manner that we're trying to keep up with our hiring to get our numbers back up.
Okay, 6 is a resolution scheduling a
Thank you,
hearing
Chief.
on a proposed civil penalty of $300 against Brood Number 5 for violation of the Iowa cigarette laws. 7 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Engel Agri Sales for 1 batwing mower. 8 are actions relating to the Human Rights Commission. A is a motion appointing Jessica Lopez Walker, and B is a motion appointing Tito Parker. I'd like to abstain on both of those votes, please. 9 are actions relating to donations and grants. A is a resolution accepting all donations under $25,000 from April through June 2025. B is a resolution accepting the donation from Parks and Rec Foundation for the Cone Park Destination Patio Project. C is a resolution approving a transit joint participation agreement with IDOT for a grant for 1 heavy-duty bus. D is a resolution approving a grant agreement with the FAA for 1 snow removal equipment displacement plow at the airport.
Mayor, I've got a question for Mike, just for a confirmation, or affirmation. There's a 5% matching
There is a 5% match.
local.
Yep, and that contract should come next week for the actual purchase of that.
Oh, it will. Okay. Thank you.
E is a resolution approving a grant agreement with FAA to fund the Gate 2 of the passenger boarding bridge project at the airport. 10 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a work order with RS&H for services in connection with the Gate 2 passenger board bridge replacement project at the airport. I have a question on that. These guys get this big master agreement, which you know how much I enjoy, that never ends. Once they got here, they're here till the airport finally grows grass. And they give you a per fee basis to do all of that work. Why do they get a separate agreement? Isn't it part of their original agreement?
So on those agreements, they list the number of projects, but there's no costs associated with those when they submit that. That 5-year agreement, is that you're referring to?
Yes,
Yeah.
but they give you an hourly rate for every employee they have.
They do, and they list projects on there. But the scope of those projects hasn't been necessarily all defined, 5 years out.
Well, I don't understand why they get a separate agreement. Are they are they getting the same hourly rate, or does it increase?
It does increase as time goes on, and their overhead goes up each year.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. But anyway. B is, I mean, I know they get, you're not understanding my question. I know they get a fee increase. But in their master agreement is so much per every employee, whatever they have.
Yes.
So why do we do separate agreements? Why are they just not operating under that hourly
I
rate?
guess I'll defer to Nicole on that then, why they're separate work orders versus just the master agreement.
I think that's just what was contemplated with their last several contracts that they've had. It just always went to the work order method when we brought forward the projects that they were designing or overseeing. That's something we can look at in the future as to changing that, but the base agreement, I believe, contemplates the work order arrangement.
I don't know why you have a master agreement then.
Well, and would things still have to come before us then or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, they still would.
Even if you fell under the master agreement?
Yeah, because we haven't bid them out, each time we.
Gotcha.
Project.
Okay.
It just doesn't make sense what we're doing here. B is a resolution approving renewal option number 1 to the service provider agreement with Siouxland Utility Contractor for vacuum truck services at the wastewater treatment plant. C is a resolution approving a change order number 1 to the contract with KP Construction for the Business Highway 75 and Lincoln Way Storm Sewer Outfall Repair Project. D is a resolution approving a contract with K&P Construction for the Virginia Street and 13th Street Emergency Sanitary Sewer Repair Project. E is a resolution approving a Y-Weight program agreement with Quintiet Leasing for the electronic mail certification equipment and software. F is a resolution approving a 36-month product lease agreement with Quintiet Leasing for electronic mail certifications, equipment, and software. 11, A and B are resolutions approving partial settlement of tort claims and authorizing payment. 12 are applications for liquor, alcohol licenses, and 13 are building housing code board minutes. Any question on any of those items? Anyone to be heard? Passes 5-0. 14 is a motion acknowledging the Board of Adjustment action July 8th. I'll move that.
Second.
Am I supposed to read remand? Okay. He doesn't.
Any discussion?
Oh, you're going to go over that? Doesn't. Well, go ahead.
Wade Schultz Planning, this item did go, that was remanded back, did go before the Board of Adjustment, and they went through and did the restrictions that they would like to see. One of the things that came up during that time, as far as legal, I won't speak exactly for them, but there was some contention on the board of, or the BYOB condition that was placed on the board, the cup. So it was at that point in time that we did go back and they did some research, and it was found that
Sure. I would just say that the applicant, my understanding is the applicant that applied for the cup did not fully understand, I think, at the time that it was heard. They had asked for the 7-day liquor license. The board did a Friday, Saturday, and then came back and then restricted the bring your own beverage for the rest of the week. And then I believe the applicant had some questions, and I don't see him here tonight.
No, I think he withdrew.
Yeah. So
Okay.
He withdrew anyway.
he asked for it to be withdrawn, but to do that, because the board's already done their vote, they would need to, this item would need to get remanded back.
For a year or whatever, or?
Well,
or
no,
it
so
stands?
for this item to be withdrawn, it would need to go back to the Board of Adjustment to be withdrawn.
So what's stopping him from having a party Saturday night and letting people bring in their own alcohol? You can't control that.
The Board of Adjustment placed part of the condition to not allow BYOB Sunday through Thursday. And then they could do the regular alcohol sales on Friday and Saturday.
Not the question. The question is, how can you stop him?
That is why we're here today, suggesting that perhaps it should be remanded back for reconsideration.
To reconsider restricting the no BYOB.
There are concerns regarding that restriction being placed.
I agree.
Yes, so.
I think there are too. I don't think,
We can do that.
and I don't know why we have to send it back. I don't think it's enforceable. You can't tell me on my property, if I want to have a party in the backyard, as long as I control what's going on.
They can BYOB all they want.
That's what I'm trying to say. So
And if they withdraw, it's just going to be BYOB, correct?
that's what
And then
it's
there
gonna
will
do.
be no
That's-
regulation.
That's the problem. I don't think you guys gained anything by doing what you did. I think you've now opened it right back up with what you didn't like, so. So what are you asking us to do? Amend this and remand it back?
The petitioner has asked for it to be withdrawn. Be able to do that, it would need to be remanded back to the Board of Adjustment for them to hear it, to be able to have it withdrawn.
And what if they say no?
Then it would probably be as it stands, so.
And the applicant would have the ability to challenge that decision.
Putting him through that when he didn't ask for that.
Procedurally, we were trying to,
Yeah.
I guess, recommend the cleanest way and being able to send it back and have that done. And so that was just the suggestion that perhaps the council would want to remand it back and let the Board of Adjustment handle it at that level and then allow the withdrawal, formally allow it by action of the board on the consideration.
Somebody want to move that?
I'll move it. To remand it
Second.
back.
To remand it back. I'm not going to pretend that I understand the cleanest way or the best way to do this, but I'd follow Nicole's advice, so second.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner, Scott,
No.
Water.
Aye.
Okay, now on the regular. Are we voting electronically?
And just for clarification, I do not believe there were any other actions of the Board of Adjustment for approval. So remanding it back essentially would take care of that. There's nothing additional
But
to
I need a
approve.
motion, a second, and then it remand down below. I'm just following what the city clerk is asking me to do, so.
I was incorrect.
Okay, well then we're going to go to 15, which is a hearing and ordinance rezoning 2290 41st Street. The petitioner is the Iowa Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church. P&C recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Public hearing is now open. I have one question. I think from the corner of that property to the corner of my property, it's 300 feet, and I'm wondering why I didn't get notified.
Staff does send out notice 200 feet plus the right-of-way. I think the right-of-way was right there at the corner of Outer Drive is roughly 70 or 80 feet. So you were just outside of that notification area.
Right away on 41st Street isn't 70 feet.
At the intersection of Outer, because we would look at the intersection.
You don't go edge of property to edge of property?
Well, we do a buffer around the whole property, but it would be 200 feet plus the right-of-way. So Outer Drive at its widest point was roughly 70 or 80 feet. I don't remember completely. And so that was what we would use. You were just outside of the right-of-way, or not outside of the notification zone. We also do have the sign that we've been putting up recently that would notify everybody that's driving.
First Imagine Planning, we always use the widest right-of-way that's adjacent. So in this case, Outer Drive would have been the wider at the 70 or 80 feet. So we sent out notice 280 feet
From that.
from the property in every direction.
Yours was,
From what corner of the property? That's all I'm asking. Because if you did the northeast corner, I'm pretty close.
You are just outside of the or that notification area. So.
Again, I must not be asking questions right today. At which corner? Out of every corner? That's what I'm asking. I don't know how you're telling.
We take the widest portion of the right-of-way, which is roughly.
can you pull up the map? Maybe it'd be easier because you show the
It
notification.
doesn't, I'm just asking, if you're only going certain ways on that, if you gotta go all the way to Outer
From
Drive,
one
well,
point.
somebody could be across the street and quite a ways and get notified, but I'm kind of, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to find out how you.
No,
guys
I
do
think
it.
it's helpful. I understand what you're saying. And
Greg, we measure the widest portion of right-of-way that's adjacent to the property, and then we notice around the entire property, so the entire triangle in this case,
Okay.
that widest portion plus 200 feet to meet state
Okay,
code.
well, then I'm probably outside then, okay.
yeah, because attachment C shows the ring around it, which I would assume is the X number of feet you said.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that picture.
Was there any concerns about the traffic coming in and out? Because is it going to come in and out of 41st Street?
That's what I wondered.
It looks like just, is that what that blue line is?
So the property is the
No, that's just pointing.
blue line. The notification zone is the green. Part of the reason that we did the rezoning to PI was to allow the access to come off of 41st Street because basically how close it is to the intersection at Division and 41st and Outer Drive right there, there could be some problems as far as traffic turning and entering onto Outer.
So
Where would that be? Where are you going to put the exit off off of Outer?
No, it's
There
going
would
off
not be
41st.
an entrance off of Outer.
Oh, I thought you said.
We haven't received a site plan yet, so we'd still have to review that before any construction could occur.
How big is the church building gonna be? I mean, how many parishioners can you have in the building at one time? Do you have any idea? Because it's not a very big lot for parking.
Not a big lot that would have to meet
Like
parking.
acres.
I'd have to defer that to the petitioner to answer that question. Again, we haven't,
Dick, how big is how many people are they for the congregation? Can you come to the mic?
They have about 140 now, and I'd like to grow to maybe over 200, so that's about all handle, but maybe 200 people on Sunday.
Dick Salem.
The microphones won't pick up
It won't
unless.
pick him up, so the recording will.
Dick, you gotta come up and say that. I'm sorry. Name and just tell us that.
This will cost you.
You're gonna have a couple hundred people, but do you have, how many parking stalls are they gonna have? Boy, that looks like it's gonna be tight.
No, the Stone Architectural Company, architectural group is handling the layout and stuff, but they haven't proceeded that far yet.
Okay.
I'm worried about it because everybody was really concerned about that potential housing development to the north and the traffic that it's going to cause coming in and out. And then we have a potential of another 100 parking spots coming in and going out that same street.
At least 100.
I didn't quite understand what you're,
There's a housing development going up
To the north of 41st.
41st Street, directly across from this property. And they want to have a street in and out there. And people were concerned of the traffic that that was going to cause and the congestion that it would cause with people coming in and out and going to work. For how many houses? 100 homes up there?
I don't remember.
Yeah. So I just wonder about the traffic, putting another curb cut or two on to 41st Street.
well,
That no
housing
one's
people
concerned
don't go
about.
out on Sunday.
Well, we all know that churches aren't only used on Sunday. You know, there's meetings, there's funerals, there's lots of celebrations, so.
Yeah, but hopefully most of them will go that way down Outer Drive. The people in Leeds won't, they'll go by my house, but
Well, and my question, I guess, and I don't know if it was discussed at all or not, my question along the lines with what Julia's saying or proposing is, I wish there was a way to improve the traffic flow in this area to accommodate both developments. You know, I'm all for if the church would like to do this, you know, and they want to build a new site there. I think that's exciting. But I think it's only fair then that we look at, well, if you were going to have that many people and parking spaces and an increase in traffic count there, you know, is there something we can do to accommodate the housing that we much more desperately than another church, I would argue, need on the north side to accommodate both of those?
Andrew Gleiser, Planning and Zoning Chair. We discussed it also, and we agreed with city engineering that 41st Street made the most sense to access and egress the church parking lot rather than Outer Drive, because
Yeah, I would agree with that too. But again, people were very concerned about streets going up into that housing development. This is just going to add another curb cut or two. How many are there going to be? We don't know.
And then, Andrew, did planning and zoning or engineering elaborate at all as far as the development on the north side or increase in traffic flow or potential future improvements in that road?
No, we didn't discuss the future development because that's not in hand currently, you know, that
Yeah.
project for something that could or could not happen. You know, it's hard.
Yeah, and that is one of those things where it's like, I believe that part of our job as city council members and city development and looking to the future of what we would want to do and could do is what we can improve now, because I would hate for us to take an action now and then undersize or not be able to adjust if and when that development happens, and then we're tearing things up again and trying to rebuild.
Well,
you can make the argument that this will actually help
Their argument?
to some degree. Well, because guess where all the parents are gonna park to pick up their kids at North Junior now, rather than being on the street where you can't get through it morning and night.
Meet me at the church.
They'll be at the church. So from my standpoint, having to travel there, this makes more sense than an apartment house or something like that, that'll always have cars there. I don't know. I'm not terribly opposed to it. Sunday morning, the traffic isn't that bad on 41st Street, and that's where 90% of the traffic's gonna come from, but up to you guys.
and not to speak for engineering, but if a development does come, then that would probably make the most sense to spend the money in the street, redoing 41st Street for something like that.
The problem is that I don't think that the engineers don't like offset driveways, and the housing going up the hill, you can't, it's gonna be an offset. The driveways are gonna offset, which engineers always tell me they don't like, but
Why is that, or what does that mean?
Because you want them straight across from each other, according to what they say, I think. And this house here is a house.
Which one?
And the
Sorry.
road's gonna go up, on the east side of this, and theirs is gonna be somewhere down here, is all I'm saying. So you're gonna.
Well, but that's what I was getting at, Mayor, is I completely agree, and I didn't know if you could put the ingress egress for the church property right along that far east line, that far east blue line, so that it would be directly across from the ingress egress of the development. That's what I thought.
You're gonna have to try to do that, I think.
And that would be my argument. And that's the planning ahead that I was talking about, is why not think about that so that then if and when that development happens, the intersection is built in, you might have to improve it based off traffic counts.
Yeah, and we don't,
Well, there's gotta do a traffic study for up above anyway.
Has the housing development been approved?
What's that?
Has the new housing development you're talking about, has that been approved?
No, but it's
Yeah.
going down the process.
What were you gonna say,
If
Fred?
you wish, city council can mandate a site plan to come back if you wish to review that. And also if you wish that there be a parking study or an update to a parking study or traffic study that would show what impacts to 41st Street Outer Drive could be included as well.
Yeah. Because Dick, for clarity, I'm not saying I'm opposed to it at all, you know, the church or any of that. If anything I would like to do is dictate where the driveway goes for the ingress egress for the church, just because I want to try to accommodate if there is a future development there.
Okay, well, that would be fine if you could just do it fairly quick so that the architect can include that exit and so forth in the plans.
Agreed.
Well, move it subject to a site plan.
Okay. I would make a motion to move this item, subject to the inclusion of the site plan coming back to council for approval.
Second.
On the amendment.
Before you do that, Dick,
What's that?
who owns the property now?
It's PBW, it's
WKG,
Dr.,
WKG Real Estate?
it's three
Yeah.
doctors.
Okay, so I'm going to have to
They were
abstain
going to
on-
build a clinic there several years ago and decided not to
Right.
do that.
Okay, so I'm going to have to abstain on this conflict of interest.
I've had it for sale for well over 2 years.
On the amendment,
The listing must be run out. We'll try to get her done, Dick.
I said, I don't care what you do as long as you approve it by the time I die.
Yeah, so you get that commission coming. Go ahead.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Abstain?
O'Kane.
Aye.
And this can only be a church or what else? Funeral home or something like that?
And in theory, like it would be PI now, so it could be a school, some type of governmental service place. It's pretty
Okay.
limited as far as what.
Anyone else be heard? The hearing's closed. Passes 4-0. Mr. Moore abstains. Anybody opposed to waiving statutory rule?
No.
I'll move it.
Second.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Abstain?
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
I'll move second, third.
Second.
Waters,
Aye.
Moore,
Abstain?
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner, Scott.
Citizen concerns. Any citizen want to be heard, please come to the microphone, state your name. Either one. They should both be on.
My name is Russ Anderson. I am employed at Jimmy John's on Floyd Boulevard. Today, the paint crew was out painting arrows for the turning lanes. I don't know how many there accidents there's been, a lot of near accidents where Jersey Mike's is. The turning lane goes from the Jersey Mike's entrance up to Walmart in front of Scooters or whatever the hamburger place is, only turning left going north.
Yep.
Why aren't they cutting a turning lane at the south end to turn into Jersey Mike's, the nail place, and the coffee place?
They are. It just hasn't been done yet.
Why did they paint it today?
I don't know. I think it has to be officially drawn out by an engineer. And
Okay, 'cause-
it's scheduled to be done before the end of the month.
Okay, because
So it's changing.
me delivering, I've been in a lot of close calls
Yep.
there, seen a lot of close
Yep.
calls.
We
and
have had one little accident there, but I have been
couple months
watching
ago.
that since it went in.
Okay.
So I'm on the Public Works team with Alex, so it's
Okay.
happening.
And I don't know what you were talking about before, is that 41st and Outer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Quick question, and I grew up out of the city, but I know what Outer Drive's for. Why wasn't it made 4 lanes when it's poured 4 lanes? There's the one little strip north of the Baptist church where it narrows down for 200 yards, but it's a 4-lane street.
Well, what I would guess is you can't accommodate 4 lanes and turning lanes. Like, say you get up to Cheyenne, that intersection. I'm not sure if it can accommodate 4 lanes and a left turn lane or not. Because what we've looked at and encountered, and Riverside Boulevard's another example of where it was 4 and went to 3, and that's because study after study after study shows that actually reduces accidents. The safest route of travel is either 3 lanes or 5 lanes.
Right.
But the trouble or I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but when it's 3 instead of 5 or that larger, then it clogs and it backs up so badly.
I can understand that when it went in, because you still had Old 75, Lewis Boulevard, and now Lewis Boulevard's barely driven on unless people are coming out from work, and where are they going? Outer Drive, because it's the quickest way to get to the other side of the city. That's why it's there. So I don't know, listen to you guys in the cost evaluations, but that's 4 lanes. And
It's not wide enough for 4, because the shoulder's not, I don't think, the same thickness as the concrete on the street.
okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, you're answering my questions.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't move here till 5 years
Yeah.
ago because I had to.
Actually, I think the other lane was kind of laid out where the bike trails are. That was the original plan, but we were supposed to go all the way to Riverside too, and that never happened.
Right, that never
either, so-
happened, so. And then I think this falls on you guys, but more the school board. But I don't know when someone's gonna get hit at North Middle. That is a catastrophe every day. People park, I've seen people parked in the turning lane onto 41st Street.
That's what I just said, that at least a lot of them will park down in this new church.
Yeah.
It can't
and
hurt.
I know you brought up Leedsell. That's also another, and they're just in bad locations and it's hard to make space, but at North Middle, and I deliver there all school year long, they've got that big green space behind into their grounds, pavement, in, out, parking, pickup.
Well, I'm not positive if this is where Julie and I were talking
We were
about.
just
'cause
talking about this
We
before
just said it
council.
before council started, and I said, I don't know why we don't force the school district's hand to have them enter on Buckwalter.
Yep.
And flow all of that way and exit onto Outer.
When they're waiting.
Out of there, so that you're all waiting in a queue down a road that there's very limited houses, and you have more length of parking lot.
If they took that green space, it's the playground, but what do they do for PE? They walk up to the practice track and walk back. So they're not using it, and turn that into a parking lot for pickups. Then they're off the street, down there pickup, and then have to get back out. Because right now, all you gotta do is stake that whole outer drive up to the entrance as no stopping.
Well, and where you're talking about, I'm not up on that.
Okay.
campus enough.
There's a lot of ground.
There's a lot of ground.
But where is the parking, or is your proposed parking lot or the playground on the south side by Outer? See, but I'm saying take it all the way off of there and just loop the cars around to the north.
They've laid the school out, I agree it. You should enter where they exit, and you should exit
Yes.
where they
Right.
enter now.
It would actually go faster because you would get off onto
Right.
Outer and it would go so much faster to get out.
But without having designated pickup parking spot, you still have people parking on the street, parking in the turning
They
lane.
do park in that.
Oh, because they don't all get in
They
the
don't want
queue?
to, they
Is
don't want to
that-
have to
Don't
sit
go
there
in,
and wait in
Alex, that's
line.
what I'm saying, they'll
park
park,
on the
when you're trying to come around down at the bottom of My Hill to Division Street, there'll be 10 cars on 41st Street, and you can't hardly turn right.
Right, and it's,
Or they're parked in the
I
middle of
avoid
Outer
going
Drive.
home,
right. And
I
I,
live
avoid
on-
going to work and going home whenever school's getting in or
yep.
out.
And I don't have kids. I have
The chief
nieces
doesn't
and
want to
nephews,
hear this, but
but I
we
don't want to
don't
see anybody
enforce
get
it
hit.
either.
Yeah.
People, we need to have some enforcement up there
Yep.
because
Well, or just talk, because I agree that we could
but
enforce.
some of the people,
But it's like,
what he's
you
talking about,
almost,
they'll sit right in the middle of the dang street.
Yep, right in the turning lane
You
to
can't
go
talk
onto
to people like that. You
41st.
gotta give them a ticket.
no, but my thought was, can you talk to the school district and say, this is what we're seeing, we want you to change habits. We
Right.
want you to change these people's habits and move this, and we're going to start writing tickets to enforce. Help us get the word out to do so.
Well, that, your engineering committee, make sure that you guys are on board on that.
But the reason I think that they should put the parking lot in the school ground, because once a kid's at the street, my understanding talking is there are city people there, that's city responsibility. Kid jets across Outer Drive and someone hits them to get to the other side, that's not the school's fault, right?
But the problem is, even if there's plenty of parking in that lot. People
Oh.
don't want to pull in because.
I was gonna say, there's a
Right.
lot of parking.
They're
Right.
still gonna park out in the street. That's the problem.
Well, then you
Plus,
need,
there's no
then you
parking
need
on
to
that.
mark that
Correct.
no parking, because
Yeah.
people sitting in their car, technically, they're not parking. Mark it no stopping, and then enforce it. So,
We'll look at it.
We'll add that to our team meeting agenda. Alex and I are on Public Works.
yeah, like I said, I don't have kids, but man, it breaks my heart when I have to drive by there when I'm working. It's just so dangerous. So I can't tell you about the rest of schools, but if they can pick up whatever was going on before I got up here with the parking for Leeds L, if they can get a parking lot from that church or whatever's there, that helps a lot too, because I've almost been T-boned trying to get out of there.
And sir, one last thing, did you come down here without bringing some sandwiches for everyone, or what?
Now, what's going on? The sample platter.
Come on, it's almost 5 o'clock, buddy.
I don't,
I should have got a hold of Bob and said, are you buying? I'll bring them.
There you go. There you
yeah, I
go.
don't, Alex
That's what you
doesn't,
should
must
be
not
eating.
adhere to that 295 rule, so we'll.
No, I thought you were buying.
When I sat down with Bob, with our study group, we went down to Martinsburg or wherever it is. And I wanted to know about coming to speak to you guys, because like I said, I've never lived in the city. And I said, Bob, I got a question to ask you. If it's politics, you're paying for the whole dang meal tonight.
There you go.
So,
But I picked a cheap place. Martinburg wasn't bad.
yeah, I don't like it, but, okay, thank you guys.
right,
Yeah, I
We
just.
solved one.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just had a lot of concerns about this, because I see it, and I have to work in it, so,
Yep, I hear you.
okay. thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else? Go to Mr. O'Kane.
All right, we got a big week. So Thursday, let's see, our formal interview of Mr. Eric Swanson starts at 1:15, and we have citizen Q&A at 2:30. So any citizens that want to come out for the interview process or for questions and answers, that is our time on Thursday. Friday, we have two candidates. Mr. Craig Clark, his interview starts at 1:15, and then Q&A with the community starts at 2:30. And then Mr. Drew Barden, his interview starts at 3:15, and the citizen Q&A is at 4:30. This is a good opportunity to get out and meet our next potential city manager and hear their responses to some questions and get a feel for them.
And for clarification on the agenda, it's a rolling agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts at 1:15 and then we'll flow from there. So the times that you had indicated are benchmark times, but the council could move faster potentially if citizens wanted to make sure that they were here on time. It's a rolling schedule.
We have to stay the whole time.
Well, yes.
The notice,
But it's
notice-
scheduled for 1:15 for the start of the meeting, which is call the roll, the city council interview, citizen Q&A, and then adjournment to follow after that.
so on Friday, that's what the notice provided? Notice it's,
Yep, for Thursday, and then
I
on,
thought there were set times too.
on Friday, then it's 1:15, call of the roll, and then we'll go through the two applicants. So there aren't set times. The council could sure adhere to that. It just, you could also go earlier if you chose to.
I think most people that will read that will think that that's the time
set
that they're
times.
going to do the interview.
Okay.
I wanted to ask Mike on Matthew's question, or his statements about the Q&A. You need to have the answers written out, or questions written out to give to the recruiting consultant to present to the
That's correct.
candidates.
Yes.
Is
He will
that-
facilitate the questions for the community Q&A.
So I don't want to give the impression that they can come to the podium and start asking questions. 'cause
And we
it's not
posted that on the agenda as well, as clear as we could for the citizens.
There was an email address and then a preference time of 5 o'clock on Wednesday to submit questions.
For citizens to submit questions.
But they can also submit questions at the time of the meeting, but there's no guarantee that all of them will be able to be gone through. So they're encouraging early submission.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Julie?
I don't have anything. I know there's a big car show coming up this weekend.
They charge
Oh,
you?
I'll let you speak about
No,
that.
all the candy.
Yeah.
We threw 80 pounds of candy out to the River Cape Parade. It was fun.
Parade.
It was a short parade, but it was fun. And I didn't have a sore arm the next day.
I'm still picking candy out of the convertible.
Or out of your hair. I think I might have
Yeah.
hit the mayor in the head a couple of times when I was throwing. There is a huge car show downtown on historic 4th Street this weekend. It benefits the food bank of Siouxland. So if you have a car, show up on 3rd and Iowa Streets. They start letting everybody in. There's no pre-registration. Just bring your car down at 1 o'clock.
What do you have to pay to get in?
Nothing. It's free. No entry fee. No
Free will donation stuff.
Free will donation that'll benefit the food bank, but there is no fee to get in.
Try to drive a 4-speed?
Oh, I could do that.
But I'll take the Mustang.
All right, Alex.
So I wanted to bring up a couple of things. Obviously, a lot has been going on, but a lot has happened in this week. So I wanted to talk a little bit about baseball. First, congratulations goes to the teams that made the state tournament, welcoming them here to Sioux City. It's exciting to see all the activity down there, and I know a lot of the teams are looking forward to the action. It's kicked off this morning, and then it will go until later this evening. Reminder that some of our local teams that are going to be competing in the state tournament right here in our backyard down at Lewis and Clark Field, our Mercy One Field. Our Sergeant Bluff is playing at 5 p.m. Heelan will be at 7:30 p.m. That's today. So 5 p.m. coming up is Sergeant Bluff and 7:30 is Heelan. Then tomorrow, East is actually going to be playing at 7:30 p.m. as well. So if you want to cheer on a local team as they battle for a state title, that'd be excellent. Please go down there. You can get tickets, I think, right there at the ticket window or find more information online. The second baseball event I wanted to bring up, I just actually left there, is there's a Catch 24 is going to be a fundraiser that's going on out at Riverside Park in the Miracle League complex. And if anyone in the community or anyone listening has been to that Miracle League complex, it's quite the establishment. It's probably one of the most visited, now maybe second to Riverfront, but one of the most visited parks in our system. But it's all been built largely based off of donations and fundraisers. And so to continue that momentum and to keep investing into that park, they're hosting this 24 hours of Catch with Kevin Nygaard. So I know the news programs will be doing a story on it coming up live at 5 and 6. But if you are able to go out to Riverside Park to the Miracle League and make a donation, learn more information, or play catch with Kevin, you can sign up online. or just stop out there to do so. So I know the mayor was planning on heading out. I went out there earlier, and I'm going back after council, so. All right, that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, Dan? Nothing further. I think you've covered it all, so I'll move we adjourn. Second.
Moore,
Aye.
O'Kane,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.